Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Beer Geek Nation. Thank you so much for joining me for another beer. All right, guys, calling this one Squall's Revenge for a reason. If you guys have been following me for a while, thank you, number one, but you will have seen, probably will have seen my Dogfish Head Squall IPA review. It was from a while ago. I'll put the link up here. You guys can check it out. I hated that beer. It was overly sweet, no carbonation whatsoever. It actually tasted like it was under attenuated. Just a big, syrupy, sweet mess of a beer. So I said, you know what, Chris? Do your due diligence. New batch just came out about a month and a half ago. Comes in at 9% alcohol by volume. It is one of their 750 bottles, so it's a limited release. Basically what it is, and it's set up to be a great beer, is their 90-minute IPA, which is a beer I absolutely love. It's a bottle-conditioned version of that, which I absolutely love. And then they dry hop the hell out of it with various, West Coast type of hops, CTZ, so big kind of citrus notes in there, sweet ripe fruits in there, in theory, there should be. So it's got the setup to be a great beer. So with that said, does it take revenge in my palate, which, by the way, I know has changed since then. So with that said, let me get to a glass so you know it smells, tastes, and give you guys the final verdict. This is it, the last time on Squall IPA from Dogfish Head. All right, fellow Beer Geek Nationers, the appearance on Squall IPA. It actually looks a lot like the Orval, which I just did. It's a dark orange, kind of Imperial IPA look to it. Really hazy. Some floaties in there from the bottle conditioning. The good news is there's tons of carbonation on it streaming out the bottom of this glass. There's about 2 fingers worth of an off-white, really tight white bubbles on this one. Nice looking head. It's a really nice looking Imperial IPA. All right, the aroma on the Squall. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of 90-minute. It's a very East Coast IPA. Big bready notes, big spiciness, big earthy kind of hop characters in this one. I'm getting some ripe orange juice kind of qualities in there. There's a slight pineapple citrusy note to it. A little bit of alcohol, touch of alcohol. Just a really nice smelling East Coast style IPA. Big bready notes, spicy. Oh, just very British. Good stuff. All right, the taste on the Squall. Here we go. Cheers. First impressions. Nice bitterness at the front of the tongue. The bitterness is almost completely taken over almost immediately by a big sweetness. It's definitely a Dogfish Head beer. There's definitely a lot of sweetness to this one. Big kind of syrupy, bready notes in there. The good news is once that kind of gets to the middle of your mouth, the hops kind of, move in and kind of take over the sweetness. I'm getting big, juicy oranges, pineapple. There's a lemon quality to it. Definitely a zest in there, an orange peel type of zest. It's a nice kind of, it's a semi-sweet dry finish. Aftertaste, I'm getting that sweet malts coming through, breadiness. There's a nice spiciness in there. Definitely a hoppy beer. A lot hoppier than I remember. Almost just as sweet though. It's definitely a sweet IPA. It doesn't have that West Coast dryness to it. Love bottle conditioning beers, and this one is no exception. There's a nice mouthfeel to it. It feels like velvet. It's so soft because of that carbonation. Excuse me, because of that bottle conditioning. So overall, it's definitely improvement over the last one I had. Really nice stuff. It's an easy drinking beer. Just a perfect example of what an East Coast kind of Imperial IPA should be. Really nice stuff. All right, guys, so the final verdict. Does Squall have its day in the sun with me? Does it take its revenge? To be completely honest, this one is heads and tails above the other bottles. I've had 2 bottles from batch 1, and both were the exact. Super flat, super sweet. Hated both of them. This one, I'm going to give a B+ too. Nice carbonation, tons of hop characters to it to really help cut the sweetness, which is still very present in this one. It's a very sweet beer, but at the same time, there's a nice spiciness, a nice breadiness to it, a nice semi-dry finish with big hops in this one, big juicy kind of floral hops in here. Carbonation is nice and kind of smooth, but definitely present to help kind of clean the palate, get rid of some of that sweetness, which was a problem with the first one. So with that said, I'm very happy with this beer, and to be honest with you, I definitely think it's worth buying. 9% alcohol by volume. I don't taste that at all, so it's really, really drinkable. Definitely worth your money, definitely worth your time. Definitely check it out. I'm going to give this one a B+, and this is Squall IPA from Dogfish Head. Get it while it's fresh. 9% alcohol by volume. Remember, folks, life is too short. Drink amazing beers, guys. Cheers.